Hello and welcome to ETBFSI.com. You're watching FinTech Diary. The world is evolving constantly, and we at FinTech Diary try to map these changes for you. My name is Amol Dethe, and my guest for this chapter is Balachander Sekhar, the co-founder of RenewBuy, an online distribution platform for the insurance. Bala, glad to have you on this show.
Thank you, Amol, and thank you all the viewers for having me on the show.
So great to have you again, Bala. And let me start by asking you a very important question in terms of where are you today? I think you understand. I understand, if I'm not wrong correctly, you started your operations in 2015, maybe some 8, 9 years back, and in last 4 to 5 years, also a lot of digital players, specifically fintech and insurtech, have come into the insurance space, and the market has evolved a lot. So where are you today in terms of your market share, in terms of how are you doing? How have you established yourself in all these years? Are you profitable? Are you generating enough revenue? Are you reaching out to more customers? Just give us some illustration about RenewBuy in terms of where are you today.
Okay, that was a lot of questions in one line, but I'm going to try and answer all of them, Amol. And firstly, I just thought I'll share. Before starting RenewBuy, both Indranil and I, who unfortunately could not join today, but basically we have spent almost 20 years or 2 decades together. Doing multiple roles. I personally was doing a lot of bank assurance business in my early days in insurance. Went on to actually create and run the first retail insurance broking platform for Reliance Industries, which today is actually converted to Geo Insurance, where we used to sell insurance in Reliance Fresh stores along with Aloo and Pyaz. And so from bank assurance, which sold insurance to well-heeled and high sophisticated selling and customers, and to also selling on the retail platform. My background has always been to drive insurance to more and more districts, more and more customer segments, and down the income strata. And having spent almost 15 years in the space and trying to solve for both product distribution in multiple roles, leadership roles, I and Indranil decided to take the plunge. And sometime around 2015, 2016, we started RenewBuy. Fundamentally, RenewBuy is essentially trying to solve for, making insurance simple and accessible to every Indian. And the idea was to build a tech-led solution that solves for the distribution or supply side. So what we believe is that insurance demand exists across India, across the strata, including the larger 700 million Indians who can afford to buy insurance. But unfortunately, the way the industry has evolved and the construct, none of the 700 million people have effective way of getting insurance products. So it's primarily because insurance companies have relied only on branch networks to sell insurance. So you have bank assurance or their own branches. So banks sell to their own customers, and there also we have seen hardly beyond 30, 40 cities, the penetration drops dramatically. And as far as insurance companies are concerned, most insurance companies, even today, Amol, it will be shocking for you to know 70-80% of their business comes from top 30 cities, despite being in the business for almost 25 years. I must proudly tell you this is that in 7 years, RenewBuy has 70% of its business coming beyond 30 cities. So what we essentially have managed to do is simply take the branch out of the equation. So for all insurance companies, 95% of their business typically comes from within 5 kilometers of their branch radius or we actually have a branchless operation. So in 7 years, RenewBuy has used a mobile app to deliver 300 products from 42 insurance companies to to create a network of 1,25,000 advisors who use our app, and they are now present in 1,500 cities of India. And 70% of our business actually comes from beyond 30 cities, as I had mentioned, and 40% comes from beyond the 100 city. So essentially, we feel that this has been a significant disruption in the insurance space. So I think this is what, in a nutshell, RenewBuy has managed to achieve in the last 7 years. And what we feel is, I think we've just started scratching the surface of what we can achieve and what we can become. Insurance continues to be deeply underpenetrated. Not more than less than single-digit percentage people have both health and life insurance products. So we see that as a large opportunity to keep growing. Vehicle ownership is on the rise massively in India. So all the macro indicators as far as insurance is concerned is looking up. So there's a lot of tailwind. So the industry itself, Amol, is expected to continuously grow over the next several years for a healthy 15% or so. And within that, players like us, tech-led platforms like RenewBuy, have already managed to get 10% market share. So our view is, in the next 5-7 years, tech-led platforms which are driving efficiency, far better customer experience, far better agent economics, far better agent earnings. For all these reasons, we will probably look at least gaining a 50% market share. So net, I think there's a massive market for players like us to essentially address, and we are addressing that. In fact, many days we go home tired and with a feeling of being, having some unfulfilled work all the time. Unfortunately, God has only made 24 hours in a day, and we have only two hands and so on. So those are the only reasons we probably could, not achieve some of this. So I think there is a massive market, massive opportunity. Our product approach and everything that we have done so far is very disruptive. So we are obviously gaining share also from the incumbent players and the traditional way of selling insurance. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Noted your points, Bala. In fact, quite meaningful one, and good to know that you're crossing your business market share beyond those 30 cities where 17-80% business of the other companies are coming from there. If you could add more in terms of revenue or your current position in terms of whether you're profitable, how much revenue are you generating, how many people work with you, how many agents you have. Just if you could give some more illustrations, that will help people and the reader to understand where exactly is the RenewBuy today.
So we have roughly about 1,25,000 agents, and
Okay.
I would say this is the sum total of this comes from a pool of, let's say, 50 lakh agents that India already has. And many or most of these agents are either dormant or very, very less active. What RenewBuy has managed to do is bring the mojo back to many of these part-time agents. Today, for us, an agent can download the app,
Right.
do the 100 hours training on the app, get IRDA certified on the app, start selling products and offer to their customers on the spot policy, compared with maybe 20 companies or 20 products on the go, do the KYCs and everything on the spot, and essentially issue the policy, earn commissions and so on, without actually having really moved here and there and so on and so forth. So it's become such a smooth, frictionless operation. This is exactly what the regulator and the ministry and everybody has been pushing also the industry to do, which is to make insurance distribution easy, make the consumer available for, make the insurance accessible to all consumers by spreading distribution. So 1,25,000 use our products. Today, on an average, we have about 55 to 60 lakh customers. So roughly, that's about 50 customers per agent that they have already brought to us over the years. We roughly did 2,000 crores of premium. This year we intend to come closer to 3,000 crores premium, which is a combination of motor including two-wheeler, four-wheeler, commercial, and health and life. As far as motor is concerned, that's what we started with. That was the easiest to digitize. So it moved very early. But today, a large part of our growth and going forward will come from increased life and health business. So we think that we've not even scratched the surface as far as health and life is concerned. And this is where we intend to keep pushing our agenda and growth. So I think that's the broad metric. We roughly did about 400 odd crores of revenue last year, and the next year we intend to double that.
Sure, that gives a clear analogy and an illustration for us to understand where you are today. Now, let me shift your focus slightly on the agents part, which is actually integral part for a lot of online businesses. So how does it work, Bala? You onboard the agents, then you allow them, or the maybe brokers you can say, and you can train them, then you allow them to download the app, and then those people go to the market and sell the insurance. Is this how it works?
So, yeah, absolutely, Amol. The best part of elegant solution lies in its simplicity. So you pretty much described it. I don't know. Maybe I'll just try and answer the same in using my words. Agent downloads the app. It's available both on Google Play Store or Apple, depending on the platform. And we do a DIY kind of video, and it's made simple for the agent to understand. Essentially, the good old method of, all agents, even today, 90% of agents for insurance companies are professional agents. They have to go through a lot of classroom training, 100 hours of classroom training. They're all brought into branches, and that's the only way you do business. In our case, a housewife sitting at home could just log into our platform or just download the app, basically simply get the details, start the 800-hour training program, all on the app, mandatory training and other product training, give an exam on the app, upload the required documents. So, bete, as one says, at home, somebody can enable themselves to start earning insurance commissions by offering their services to their network of customers. In India, most agents operate by friends and family to begin with. So we basically built our business ethos around that. And we also know that agents always do good for their customers because most likely the agent knows the customer. Unlike many other channels where there is mis-selling and all. And the best part is using a tech-based platform. The journey is standardized. The pricing is transparent. The information that we get from customers is standardized and it cannot be, subvent or not. So there is a high degree of compliance also that we have brought into our sales process, which is extremely important in this industry. We are now invested in deep tech to solve for multiple underwriting issues. We acquired a company called Artivatic 2 years ago, and now we are using that to basically do some really path-breaking stuff like facial recognition and so on, which essentially gives first level of underwriting for us also in case to just, assess the customer risk better. So all these things are provided through our technology. The agent then simply starts issuing the policies on the spot. Now, Compare our agent to a regular insurance company agent. For the same policy, Amol, that you need to do, let's say your car insurance has come up for renewal, uh, you are approached by an agent from a particular insurance company. The current model is such that he or she is restricted to one company. Some of them get by that by having another license in their wife's name and all, but then it's still maybe two companies. So they'll offer you product and price of that one company and say, this is it. Now, whereas a RenewBuy advisor will come to you and say, hi, Mr. Amol, here is the bunch of 20 insurance policies that I can offer for your car. And on the spot, he or she can make more filtered choices, just like you see it on, let's say, an Amazon or Flipkart. You can start choosing some parameters which is more suiting your product your requirement, customized for you. And based on that, maybe the list gets shortlisted, and then you see different prices, and you can have a healthy conversation with my advisor on why certain company or why not some company, and just make a choice. Once you make the choice, it's again very smooth. There's a form filling, a lot of which is intuitive, and within minutes, maybe 5 minutes at max, the policy is in your inbox. I mean, basically, in between, you receive a payment link, you pay, and this. Now, cut to what either a consumer or an traditional agent is used to. He would have typically taken your check or your payment request or your policy and gone to a branch, issued a payment link, and there you would have got some, you would have paid, and then he would have brought back your policy or emailed or WhatsApped your policy. So we save the agent a branch visit. More importantly, for the agent, we have seen a doubling of his sales throughput simply because he's able to answer the customer's query far better, far more holistically, giving him choice, and having a more what I call constructive conversation on what product he should be buying and what feature he should be taking.
Right.
Yeah.
But tell me something, Bala, specifically on the commission side, right? I mean, how much commission are these agents are getting? I know there's a lot of restrictions which I really have. There are certain formulas also. But tell us, since you have more than 100,000 agents that you said some time back, how much commission are they making? How many, and whether it is a kind of a decent business for them, because as on one side we say that insurance has a low penetration, but on the other side, the agents also don't make enough money, perhaps. So are they making enough money? How long does it take for them to perhaps, what you can say, sell policies, and is it a sustainable business model for them?
Well, there are parts of the questions I may not exactly be able to answer. So, large part of agents in India are part-time agents.
Yes.
This is a very fundamental difference between how our agents or insurance agents are done. This has been how LIC has built its business.
Right.
Given to understand that more than 85% of agents are part-time agents. In our platform as well, more than 85% of agents are part-time agents. Now think about it. This agent is probably doing 20, 30 policies an annum. And at best can basically focus on their own friends, family, and so on, relatives. Using the RenewBuy tech platform, he or she could continue to do what they do and yet also do the insurance with no disruption to their life. Let me explain that with an example. A lot of agents are basically school teachers or bank employees or bank managers or or working somewhere. They're basically some assistant, some clerk in some chartered accountant's office. And you go smaller towns, you will realize. Or there are many, many agents who are doing multiple selling. They're selling mutual fund, they're selling gold, they're selling deposit, they're selling insurance, they're selling this. We fit in perfectly in that ecosystem, Amol. We basically today on an average are delivering about 10,000 rupees per month to all our agents. And that's a substantial part of, I mean, even if it is 1/3 or 1/4 of their income, that kind of kicks in a lot of money for them. And it is by simplified, I mean, it's a very simple way in which they just have to, we've given them all the tools, and including paying their commission, managing their renewals, tracking their renewals through a CRM program, reminding them that they should speak to this customer, and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very useful tool for agents, which is why many agents swear by us. They love us. And they've also said that, and even the regular professional agents have said, using our tool, their income and their business is doubled because they're able to deliver what the customer wants. As far as part-time agents were concerned, they love us because they continue to do what they're doing and yet also be partaking the insurance business. So this is where, Amol, the future of insurance is. What I just described, anybody who's a 10th pass, which is what the IRDA wants, can be an agent. So there aren't that many jobs that India is creating. In your office, you could have an office boy who's a 10th pass guy who just can get trained by using our platform and start serving all of you insurance while he also, helps out in some admin work. This is essentially the new India that we are trying to imagine and create. So this is essentially a very path breaking in what I'm trying to do, because suddenly a lot of people for whom insurance was this big, mind block, they can make money out of it. A lot of women we are encouraging to join our platform simply because they can add that 5, 10, 15, 20,000 bucks to the platform. Sorry, to their household income. And, again, something that, drives up their overall family household income. So, yeah. So I think that's where we are on that.
Noted your points, Bala. So let me move ahead slightly and understand more about the industry now. Uh, See, now even the insurance companies are going very, very high on the digital side. There are a lot of brokers, are also going very, very high, specifically on the digital side, because adoption of digital has gone up significantly. But the market is still not as expanded as we thought it will, and it's not as perhaps big as we thought it will be, or maybe we didn't reach to that market. How do you see the future for you specifically, because the competition specifically in insurance business is very high. Everybody thinks that under penetration is one big area which everyone is betting on, but what is your actual view, a realistic view? Do you think that there is a lot of scope for digital players like you in the market going ahead?
So, Amol, I just want to clarify and maybe spend a couple of minutes on explaining the market structure and what we actually are. Unlike digital players, as you call it, which probably refers to a pure online offering, which most insurance companies have tried to do for the last 2 decades. Since I used to be in part of that industry, I've seen multiple and billions of dollars having been spent in telling customers to come online and come to their website and click www and then buy in 3 clicks, 3 easy steps, and blah, blah, blah. All of them have failed. All of them have not reached any form of critical mass. No insurer today who is in his right mind will pursue that philosophy. Believe you me, Amon, this has failed across the globe because of one and only one reason. Most consumers don't understand insurance. They actually, if they many consumers, if they were going to buy on their own, land up buying the wrong policy. Most consumers don't wake up in the morning and look at insurance as the thing that they need to buy. It is the last thing that they probably think of. insurance is a sold category, which is why globally agency business thrives, and insurance is pitched and repitched and sold. I mean, there is never a queue for insurance buying. So for all those reasons, pure online has not worked, will not work in my view. As they say never, but in the current context, won't happen. So much so that going forward to one of our leading competitor, I mean, or rather, player, Policy Bazaar, tried going online and did not succeed, and now has what we call the assisted online model, where there's a large telecalling model which follows through. What we did completely differently was, we never believed that consumers will go online, and we believe they won't go online on their own for the next few decades. The agent, therefore, continues to go after the customers, but he converses with the customer and interacts with the customer and with the insurance company and everything around the product digitally using the platform. So we've used the entire internet led technology, the digital way of doing things, but keeping an agent in mind, because we train the agent, if he's not already trained, to, on these products and on the nuances and everything else. And by delivering both choice as well as a instant policy and all the benefits of a digital experience, we've been successful. So this model is now not just in India, but across the globe, actually gaining share as we talk every year.
So from day one, you started with basically empowering the agent, and that's what
That's right.
you thought.
We never went direct to consumer. That's right. Yeah.
Never. That's quite interesting, Bala. Let me move my focus specifically on the business side. We have seen a lot of great stories. Specifically, I have been tracking fintech since last 5 6 years, so I have seen great stories. But many great stories didn't end up really well in last couple of 2 to 3 years. They went to market and again collapsed like there is no tomorrow, and they could not get up. Uh, you know, because of various reasons. And now the investors also slightly losing interest in the whole financial innovation. But when we say fintech, fintech is connected with banks, and then people started calling insurtech actually. So, what is your view specifically on the whole fintech and the insurtech ecosystem, Bala? Why the investors are going slow? Why most of the fintechs and insurtechs are also failing? I'm talking about the profitability. Perhaps they will have a great runway going ahead, but ultimately profitability matters when you have to be in a business for a longer time. So, what is your view on the whole industry where you are also in part today?
I will not be able to comment on the larger fintech landscape. I know that many players have gone through ups and downs. But let me tell you, the insurance space is hot as ever and will continue to be the hottest sector within financial services. Believe you me, this hot, cold business, I never believe. I'm a true blue old world in terms of, when I look at businesses. Insurance is a high margin business. It makes a lot of sense. It's a large addressable market. And what we are doing is highly differentiated and bringing a lot of efficiency into the industry, both in distribution and now with our recent Artivatic acquisition, even in the underwriting space. So for all those reasons, I think the sector and us specifically will remain very interesting for incoming investors or as an investment opportunity. I also know that large amount of these fintech players or these so-called, I mean, people who have large consumer uh, uh, franchise but are struggling to make money, have used insurance cross-sell in the future as a way of, what I call justifying their losses. And I can only tell you, insurance is a very different cup of tea. Consumers prefer to buy insurance and work with those people with a lot of knowledge and experience. It comes with a lot of gravitas. Insurance is not a subject to be taken lightly. So for those reasons, I think specialist players like RenewBuy will always stand out and do well. The insurance industry, which earlier was mixed about how the insurtech players and this POSP channel will play out, today are more than convinced, which is why we have 42 insurance companies on our platform and many, many more wanting to join. Now it's a question of, boys, I think we have enough choice on our platform. So I think there are 100 new insurance companies likely to open shop in India. People, don't understand that a country like India probably has the least number of insurance players with about 55, 60. We think, oh, there's a lot, but probably some small Asian country has 200 and 250 and so on. So many, many big insurance companies are likely to enter. The insurance bill, which is likely to get passed with the new government forming, is very much anticipated. There is incredible amount of regulatory tailwinds. The new regulator especially has solved multiple issues for the industry. So I think it's all looking good. The insurance sector is looking good. In fact, we believe that amongst the financial services, we stand out, and there is a lot of investor interest in our the question about profitability and is also now well answered. Most of the players who have achieved scale, including us, are now almost or already delivering profits. And as I said, the business has healthy margins. Yeah.
Sure. So good to know about the profitability part, Bala. And last question that I want to ask you now is, what next for you? It's been decent years since you have been working. Good to know that revenue profit combination is also working good for you. Good to know that you have a decent force of agents working with you and great partnerships are happening. In fact, you're in a position to say no to a couple of companies now, which is a good position to be in. But what next for you next 2 years? Are you going to raise more funds? Are you going to hit the capital market? Will you apply for licenses? Any tick mark that you want to give me here, or anything else apart from what I just asked you?
Look, I would like to do all of what you just said, if I can, if it was in my hands. But I think uh, let me try and say that we are focused on three things. Number one is the core distribution business in India, which I think we've now scaled. We have 125,000 agents. We want to bring more and more products within the insurance space and maybe also try some, using our data and customer data, we uh, tailor make some more solutions for them. For instance, if we know that this customer has a 6-year-old car, why not, offer him a car loan and, which also on the platform and so on. So some of our product thinking will expand using the same distribution database. We want to grow that agent base to about 300,000 agents over the next 3 to 4 years. Our belief is then we would have truly covered the length and breadth of this country. And the distribution business is already almost on, I mean, it's operationally profitable, but at a slightly higher scale will deliver full-fledged EBITDA. And that's the next few quarters agenda and continued growth of that. So that's part A. Part B is where we are seeing some massive exponential opportunity and growth. 2 years ago, we acquired Artivatic. It's a deep AI ML based tech platform which has solved for underwriting and now solving for claim. Today, Amol, more than 25% of the private life insurers use Artivatic underwriting solution to decide whether we should insure a person A or B or C. And based on more and more data getting through the platform, it's getting better and better at this decision making. We're going to basically be able to replace large amount of
Hmm.
specialized underwriters and humans involved in this process,
Hmm.
and replace this with an AI-led machine decision, which can result in billions of dollars of savings for this industry. And what we are trying to solve, and we're already solving, is not just a India but a global problem, right? We believe this is a massive growth vector. So that's where our next, I mean, that's where the big growth and big investments for us to make will be. We are already making investments and seeing a pipeline of possible clients in Middle East and South Asia, which comes to the third part of our growth, which is thanks to our last investor, Daiichi, who's a very large player across Asia in insurance, one of the largest life insurance companies in the world. They would like to see RenewBuy in multiple markets.
Yeah.
Without saying more, I'm going to say that within this financial year, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's a highly regulated business, but we will have opened RenewBuy in one more country, not too far from India,
Hmm.
as the first, growth of the business beyond India.
Hmm.
And what is interesting is that the fundamentals of the business will not change. The underlying consumer experience, the agent experience, the technology platform, and everything else will be standardized and almost similar. But we need to create these locally in few
Hmm.
markets, so on. So these are the three ways in which we will keep growing. To answer the question, wherever we need capital, we will certainly raise this. Currently, we are not in the market raising actively in this, but we keep talking to investors. If there is a very high quality investor, we are happy to consider. But the last round of investors and are, we have very strong backing, and I think so. The company's financial requirements, let's put it this way, are always going to be met. Yeah, and yes, it is in my immediate, I would say, 2-3 year time frame to approach the capital markets and list the company, which is the natural
Hmm.
way to provide exit to all our investors, and also to take the company into a very strong phase of what I call evolution and growth. So, yeah.
Noted your points, Bala, and we wish you all the best on those two things. One, exploring, expanding in new geography, and hitting the capital market maybe in next 2 to 3 years. And it was nice to know, where RenewBuy is and what kind of business model it has developed and how you are actually being part of this whole ecosystem. Thank you so much for sharing your time and sharing your views on the FinTech Diary, Bala. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amol, and thank you, the team from your side, and all the listeners and viewers for having me here. Thank you again.
Thank you, and thank you so much for watching.